Okay, so I think we're live. We're starting 1 minute in advance for the first time ever. So thank you so much to anyone who's joining. Today's going to be a really fun session. I'm just going to let some people get in here. I'll check out that I can see everything on my trusty iPad. Here we go. Okay, yeah, I can see your chat. So hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. As the title and thumbnails suggest, I'm going to do today anatomy drawing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a little different than what we have done so far. Thank you so much, Mark, for letting me know you can hear me. Hello from Sylvania, Ohio. We have Pam Lake. Hello from West Virginia. We have Seval Ayan. Lots of love from Turkey. Jeff Francisco, good evening from Philippines. Philippines always in the house. Steffi H. Hello from Munich, Germany. Barb White. Hello from Lancaster, Ohio. Janelle Dezoncaro. Yay, I'm first. You are first. Donna Bowman, good morning from VA, USA. Of course I am. Hi, Liron. Hey, everyone. Hey, Cubswin. How are you doing? So, a couple of fun stuff we have for today. We're going to do, as mentioned, anatomy drawing. It's going to focus on, let me show you what I have here. I already have just a bunch of sketches I used also for the thumbnail. Maybe you've seen them. What I want to do is not so much go into the deep anatomy, but talk about how to construct the human figure in a way that looks good, that's convincing, and that you can do as well. This is very advanced, so the goal here isn't to succeed. The goal here is to do and practice, okay? And this is my mindset. That's going to be my mindset for today. We have 38 people in the 45 people in the house. Thank you so much. So because you're so good to me and so nice to me, I will share with you this portrait I just finished today. I wanted to show you, and I think we can also do like a tape removal today. So let me know if you want to see that here on the live stream. I'm going to show it to you in the camera above. Here we go. Just so you can see it better. I believe some of you have seen this on Instagram. Zaid Thakor almost forgot your life today. I'm happy you remembered, and I'm happy you're here. So yeah, you may have seen this one on Instagram. I showed some work in progress. This is one of the portraits so far that I've worked probably the hardest on, probably the most focused. If you've been here a while, you know about this YouTuber called Misulbu. He's a Korean person that does these crazy, super realistic portraits, and I use that work as inspiration to this portrait in particular. Just trying to really up my game. Thank you so much, Dave. I see you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Maggie McNevin. I did not record the painting process because this is one of those works where I really have to be super focused and really in it. So I felt like I need this to be a personal work, so to do it just by myself in my own privacy. So I think what we'll do is, let me know if you want to see a tape removal later. I do want us to jump into today's topic because maybe some people arrived here expecting that. Now, as always, again, the live streams are kind of fun, casual. It's not as, straight to the point. So if that's something you are hoping for, sorry, it's not that. It's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of different points that I'm going to make. Feel free to ask questions. It's going to be talkative. And if you're looking for a more like structured approach, I'll definitely do more videos on the topic in the future. So what I want to show you today, and yes, as I had questions about watercolor and other topics are allowed, as always. Ask whatever you want. We will focus on anatomy though. So here's what I want us to do. I'm going to show you a couple of photos. Now, I don't dive really deep into anatomy here. I also kind of try to keep my channel, I don't know, PG-13, I guess. I don't want to do too much nudity and stuff like that. What I did do is gather a bunch of reference photos that really show the human body in motion. And I think it will help us see how to draw things in a good, efficient way. There's not going to be like anything too much nudity. So just letting you know. My sketchbook. Let's talk a bit about materials. My sketchbook is the cheapest you can find, just a campus. I love these with this kind of a thing that I can, the bookmark. I can remember where I was. I have a bunch of works here. As you can see, the pages are quite transparent, which can hurt the experience. I'm not gonna lie. I'd much rather some thicker papers, and I got a few, I believe, in the past campus sketchbooks with thicker paper, so that's the one thing you may want to invest in, but you can do these studies on just about anything. This works really well for pencil. Pen will show through greatly, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you're doing just working on one side. So I think what we can do is, we have a bunch of people here in the house, so thank you so much to anyone who's here. Just letting you know, if you can, do me a personal favor and like this live stream. It really helps help more people find it. So I would greatly appreciate if you do. And we can get to it. So let's get started with the first reference photo. So I got this. Now, I love these kinds of poses because they're very dynamic. And that's a good place to start. The more dynamic the pose is, let me just fix some stuff here. The more dynamic the pose is, I think it just becomes a little easier to portray it. And so what we'll do is go over, and I may have to open it up separately on my computer just to see it fully, but we will focus on the motion a lot and how to sort of construct the human body. We'll take it slowly. I'll talk about the process I'm doing. Again, don't expect necessarily success, but I do want you to understand the underlying principles. Let's just read over some of the chats real quick, and then we'll get started. Because it is a live stream. It's going to be slow and fun. So here we go. Comes with hellos from Texas. Excited. Dave, hello. Liron, good to see you. Hearing fine. Perfect. Thank you so much. Prabhakar, hi from India. Gail, good morning from Philly. Phoenix, Yusuf, how are you? From Sri Lanka. Mylene, hello from Canada. Raymond, hello from, I don't know how to read it. Ikali, Nunavut, Canada. Felix Graham, hi from Austria. Michael M, hello from rainy California. Yeah, the weather is crazy, huh? Rainy one day, sunny another. Linda Lynch, hello from Georgia, USA. Dave says, great portrait, thank you so much. Maggie says, amazing portrait. I didn't record it, as I mentioned, sorry. Gail says, portrait is fabulous. Linda, wonderful portrait. Nancy G, morning from Akron, Ohio, nice portrait. We did portraits this week in my watercolor class. Cool, Nancy. That's really cool. Feel free to send some over so that I look. I don't remember if you sent me some. Let me know. Zaid, questions about other topics are allowed. Maggie, yes, tape removal, we will do that. Henry Wilkinson, Liron, thanks for from Frozen, Illinois. Rinske, how are you? Hi from the Netherlands. Kimberly Hilton Studio, good morning, everyone. Hi, Liron, your portrait looked fantastic. Thank you. James L. Baker, greetings from London to all. Good day from Christian from Hamburg, Germany. Cubswin says, congrats on 100K. Well deserved. You're on your way. Thank you so much. Yes, it's been a long climb. People say that after 100K, the growth becomes faster. I don't know if that's true, but yeah. So here's the thing. I'm gonna open these photos larger on my screen because I want to be able to see them properly. So if you don't see anything or something is out of the frame or something like this, let me know because I won't see the feedback of the monitor of what you see. Okay, so let me know if something's out of focus. I do want to make that sacrifice because I need to see these accurately. So here's the thing. What I love about this kind of a figure is there's a great sense of motion and you can really capture the gesture. So the gesture is the movement. Now this means you don't follow the outlines you see, but rather you try and find an overarching trend in the figure. So if I had to ask you to describe this entire figure with just one line, curved or straight, doesn't matter, what would it be? So to me, I see a very nice line from the head all the way to the leg there. Okay, so that's going to be kind of a basis for the gesture. Now, one more thing I want to do before that, and I will bring back the monitor, is I always start these sessions with warm-ups. And I find these are really important. So let me show you how I'm warming up for figure drawing, figure sketching gesture. What I do is very simple. I start by drawing a bunch of lines in all sorts of directions. The reason I'm doing this is to train my shoulder, and it's good that you can see me, because I'm using the entirety of the shoulder to draw these. And I want to kind of warm it up, make sure I am able to draw any line in any angle. So what I'll do is I'll sometimes put two dots and then I'll just connect them. And you'll find that some angles are harder than others. For example, this that goes to the side, sweeping motion, is a little easier than going like that. And you see this waviness. So this waviness is just me warming up. And that's a part of it. That's something you will experience. So I really want you to do a lot of that. I know it looks By the way, a Riley method, I need to learn the Riley method. So Gurav Kumar, I will try and teach it in the future if I know it. If I ever get to learn it. I'm working by Proco's methods, if you will, maybe some Loomis, kind of a mix. So in any case, lines in all directions, that's really useful. Now, another thing to do that really helps is to draw a lot of circles and ovals. This is really useful because what you're basically doing is really moving your hand in all sorts of directions. And you will notice that as we move along in this session, my lines do get better. They do get sharper, more to the point. You're able to do these rounded circle shapes in one go, or a little more organized. In the beginning, you'll go like this. You won't find the center. It'll take some time, okay? So that's another thing I always do. Now, another thing I recommend doing, which is really fun, is ovals. Now, at first, you can do like dumb ovals, so just draw them in all sorts of directions, okay? Try fast, try slow, do everything. It really helps to try it in multiple different ways. And now you see I'm starting to warm up. I'm starting to feel a little better about the technique, or about the, I guess, just the motion and movement I get. So we go like this, we go like that. Next, I want your ovals to be a little more deliberate. And what does this mean? I want to draw an oval that is perpendicular to this line. And you may remember how to do that. You just go with a line that's perpendicular, and you use that as the long axis of the oval. And if you can practice doing this without that perpendicular line, that's a really good way of practicing. Now, you don't have to. You can always draw it if you want to, or you can even do just line and then an oval around it. But I want you to focus deliberate ovals, okay? I want you to really try and put them somewhere. Another good exercise is to draw the oval and then find the center, kind of like that. Okay, just a bunch of things, but you want your hand moving in all sorts of different directions. And every time you get this waviness, it's just you need some warm-up, okay? Maybe you need some practice too. For the most part, it's just warm-up. Gail says, do you keep your sketchbook flat or upright when sketching? So this is really a matter of preference, because it's not like watercolor where the angle influences it that much. To me personally, I do need a little bit of an angle, so I would say it's something along the lines of this angle. See? I don't know, maybe kind of similar to watercolor. Maybe 15, 10 degrees, something like that. It's not much, maybe 15 degrees, because my table is also at a small angle. So in any case, you fill in a page with these, and then when you're done, you're ready to go. Okay, so I'm just going to do a few more because I feel like I need it. There's always this pulling from opposite directions when I'm doing these videos, because on the one hand I want to give a good show, but on the other hand there are a few things I need to do for myself to get better results. So I need to stop for a moment, slow down, maybe not talk. So let me know if that turns things boring. I think you will. I think people are okay with it as long as the art is, I don't know, as long as there's something to learn. So I'm just letting you know. It's kind of, I have to be a little selfish sometimes, like I needed to with the portrait. I had to really be selfish for a while, not share it in order to produce it in the first place. Okay, so just got a text message. Sorry about that. So now I'm ready. I think I'm ready to go. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get started on this one. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Here we go. We're gonna get started with this one. And I'll show you the process. First gesture or figure, it's not going to be perfect, but we'll learn together. So I'm going to switch over to the picture opened large on my screen. Again, if you can't see something, simply let me know, and I'll get started. We'll get started with one, then we can do some more questions. So if you had to describe this movement with just one line, and it's either a straight line or a curved line, or maybe like this, so ICS, I would go with this kind of a thing again. See? Like that. Because there's this overarching movement from top to bottom. Okay? Now, if you have to add another one, I really like, and some of it is subjective. It's kind of what you like to portray, what you like to see. I personally really like the movement in the arms. So you see something like that. There's this wavy pattern that goes like this. Then this arm goes like that. The other arm goes up. Again, nothing too accurate at the moment. I'm just placing in some lines. And then you have the other leg, and that's kind of in the middle, and it goes like this. So I'm just trying to show you the process in terms of motion, okay? So here's how I approach these what I like to do is find the balance of the pelvis and the shoulders. That's what I find most useful. So for the shoulders, if you look, you actually have this kind of an angle like that. Now, it actually makes sense because think about it this way. One arm is raised forward, and then the other arm is down. So the arm at the front is actually raised a little higher. So that's kind of a thing that happens. Now, very often what you'll see is that the pelvis compensates for it by moving the other direction. So the leg that's closer to us is a little higher, maybe, than the leg that's farther. So we're going to examine this kind of a estimation, or even guess, even a wise guess, if you will. Okay, so look at what we've got here. We've got this beautiful pattern of lines in opposing directions. Now we can start putting in the movement we see. It's kind of a mix. I'm doing a mix of gesture and building up the figure. We'll do something a little more organized later, trust me. So if I look at this line, which is somewhere around the waist, okay, I can actually connect it with the back like that, okay? And if I look at this line, I have this lovely motion like this, you see? Now, this line actually continues all the way to the back. That's what makes this pose so beautiful to me. And then we got one leg that's facing towards us, okay? Kind of like this. And then another part of the leg that goes like that. And you see here, this foot is aimed at us, okay? And Brazil, Eliana Tina says Brazil. I'm not sure if this is a player from Brazil or something else happens in Brazil, so let me know. So this goes down like this, and then it curves back like that. Down, curves. Now look at my lines. They're pretty inaccurate and very redundant. That's because it's the first one, okay? So usually the first one doesn't go exactly as you want. That's perfectly fine. And this is way too, like if you look at the edge here, should be a little more towards here. So just letting you know, let's fix that kind of a thing here, okay? And I'm using strong lines because I want you to see. I'll go much lighter if I would do this for myself, by the way. So just letting you know. So one hand goes like this, and another one goes like that. And it actually should come out of here. And look at how I exaggerate the motion a bit, okay? And this goes up like this. And then we got the head that's somewhere around here. Okay, so not necessarily the clearest one, but let me do some stuff here to fix that, make it a little better. So if we get rid of these lines, it will become more apparent that this arm is actually closer to us, okay? And again, I didn't do any like 3D construction or anything like that, okay? This is just kind of warm up. But you see, at least you get a sense for the motion. Now you can look at it and ask yourself, am I accurate? Did I get some things off? Well, yes, probably some parts are a little off. So let me measure. So I find that this distance should be around half. So we're kind of okay. The head maybe should be more towards here. But in any case, as long as you capture the motion, you're good, okay? Now I want to show you something really neat. And then we'll do a bunch of these so that I can warm up. I want to show you, you can actually work with, this is what Proko calls the bean. You can actually work with the top and bottom, like the pelvis and the rib cage, and really show the movement there. So if you look at the top part of the body, it's actually tilted away from us. And how do I know that? Because he's facing that direction. The middle line of the back is somewhere around here. See that? So what you can do is do an oval or an egg. So you imagine an egg shape. This is actually its back, okay? Don't know why, I thought it's gonna be cold today. One second, I'll open the window. I don't know why it's always so hot in here. So you get this kind of an egg shape for the top, and then you get another egg shape for the pelvis, okay? And look at the kind of shape we got here, like this. And this really allows you to see the curve. And let me show you what I mean by that. This center line goes around the back, and then it disappears from behind. And on the other hand, we have another center line up front that disappears like that. So what you actually, if you imagine this as the back, faces away from us, you get to see this curvy movement. Okay, this is something I'll show you in the next couple of examples too, and it will make it a little clearer. But if we ignore the back line, I want to try something out here, and then we'll do a bunch of others. So if we have this shape, and let me see that you can see this, because I don't see it. Okay, yeah, you can see this. So if we have this kind of a motion, let's go just with the front. What I like to show is that this is really twisted away from us. So let me show you in that direction, like that. Okay, so what we'll do is show the center line that is kind of in the front right, disappearing, because then it goes from the other side. Okay, I hope that makes sense, but even if it's not, it's just another way of seeing things. We'll do more as we move along. What I do want to try and do is tackle another version of this one, but this time we'll focus on construction. Okay, I shouldn't do this. I should do more warm-ups, to be honest with you. But let's try it out. I want to share with you some 3D concepts. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. Adrian, I can't hear you because you're writing, but I can read what you write. So yeah, please don't spam. If you spam, I'll have to block. So let me know if you're gonna spam, and then I'll block you. Let's see. What do you feel about the squishy cube method? I'm not sure what it is. It's there in many manga drawing books. I guess that works. I sometimes do something that looks kind of like a squishy cube. Love the self-portrait. Thank you, John. Dave, can you get the same results doing figure drawing from an artist's mannequin? I don't think so. Let me close the door. I don't think it'll be the same, and I'll explain why. There are actually a couple of reasons for that. The mannequin, you design the movement and the motion. It will never feel as natural as the human body. So if you want natural movement, it's better to rely on photos like this one. But if you just want to practice volumes and representing things three-dimensionally, then yes, I would go with a mannequin just to practice, get a lot of poses in, maybe observe a real life object rather than something on the screen. I hope that makes sense. Good morning, Daiji Shinomori. I hope you're doing well. Matsuzaka, I have trouble drawing faces, mainly jawlines. It always feels like it's out of place compared to the eyes and stuff. Do you have any tips? Yeah, I think practicing the Loomis method for heads will help. It's a big topic in and of itself. I'm not going to get into portraits at all today, or face, almost at all. But I would study the Loomis method and learn how to represent it in extreme angles and easy angles. I can do something on that in the future. Watercolor by Shilpum. Keep some dark circle thing on your page soon, just so the screen be more clear. Yeah, I know. That's actually a good idea. I'll do that. Let's do this. And hopefully it will help it focus. I don't know. Yeah, I tried it before. It actually worked. Rinske, I'm drawing with you. Cool. Okay, yeah, so we can do like a drawing together. So let's take a closer look at the shapes here, because this pose eludes me a bit, and I actually want to give it a try. Anything that shows the back, I find very challenging. So I do want to try maybe diving a little deeper here. Okay. So if I had to try and build this in a three-dimensional manner, I will do the rib cage. Let's try it out. Let's do something here. I may have to go quiet for a while as I focus. Okay. As I mentioned, you may have to forgive me for that. So this goes here. Then we got this. Shoulders go like this. Lower part of the body goes like that. And then, yeah, okay, so we're good. So let's try something out here. I'm going to represent the rib cage as an oval. We'll see if we can produce something interesting here. So just as an egg. Now it's facing away from us. So something like, and let me see that you can actually see this, or if you can't, okay, yeah, you can see this. Let's do it like this. My logistics aren't as well prepared for sketching, so my apologies about that. Then the back is here. So if the back is here, then the front is here. And then, let's see. Interesting. So this goes like that, and this goes like this to the back. Okay, so we go like that. Now for the pelvis, you actually need, there are two bony landmarks right around here that can be very useful to find. I think they're called the pieces. And then you can build the pelvis as a box. So let me show you how I do that. So we have, this is the front, and the natural direction of the pelvis is to be tilted a bit. So what we'll actually get is a box that is tilted forward. Let me show you here, something like that. Sorry for the inaccuracies, minor inaccuracies. So this goes like that, like this, like this. We'll see if we can get something in a more of a construction approach rather than kind of what I did before. So we got a couple of shapes. Why don't you draw with the pencil grip? I mean, I still use my shoulder when drawing. Oh, okay, yeah. Sometimes for larger lines, I prefer to hold it like this. I just get used to it. But then when I get to the details, I will switch my grip more to that. But you see, I'm kind of moving in and out of the two. I actually prefer this grip for curved lines, even if they're small. Just something from my own personal experience. For some reason, it's more fun. But in any case, I'm going to really go over these lines because I want you to see them. We have this box here that represents the pelvis. Okay. And then if we connect them, the rib cage will actually go like this. So there are a bunch of muscles in the back that and you know the spine and all of those things that go around the back like this. Okay. And then they layer on top of the rib cage, obviously. So you don't get a straight line from the rib cage to here. You actually get a bit of a gap. So if I work with that gap, I can connect this to the pelvis. Okay. Now what you'll very often see here is, and I'm kind of ignoring the clothes, you'll see this bump and then a straight line to the bottom. And the reason for that is that there's the rib cage, the 10th rib, I believe, it pops out a bit, so it just looks like it pops out, and then you get this kind of a thing. Now my main problem very often is to draw the rib cage too wide. So that's a recurring mistake, just letting you know. When I work in this kind of a construction method rather than observation, I tend to do that. So just letting you know. Now I'm going to clean up the lines and it will hopefully make a little more sense. Okay. So what we got here is the shape of the top of the body and the pelvis. And then we can build on top of that. So let's see what we can do here. So if this is the shoulder line, the arm will come out from somewhere around here. Okay? And now look at what happens. This part of the upper arm is facing towards us. So what we get is actually this very extreme cylindrical shape that goes kind of like that. Okay, let me show you to the side as well. So this comes out like this. Should even be rounder, and you see it's aimed towards us. Like so. I know it's a bit messy, forgive me for that, but here we go. Coming towards us. So I'll draw that. And then we have the elbow. Now I don't see a lot of the anatomy, obviously, and I said we won't focus on that. We'll kind of construct. So this is what we'll do. So I'm going to put the hand here. This part of the hand moves away from us. So if I had to show the direction of this part, I'll go like this towards us. And this moves away in that direction, so we'll wrap it with a line like that. Okay, and that kind of represents that it's going away. And if you look at the sleeve, you'll actually be able to see it. Also, you'll actually be able to see the sleeve representing that. And then we get to the hand. Now the hand, I'm going to revisit it later. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So this is a part of how we construct it. I want to clean up some lines just to make sure that this actually makes sense. I know it's a bit messy. Yeah, let's keep it like that. We're going to do a couple of gestures later on. They'll be a little quicker. Okay, now we have the other arm. So it goes kind of like this and like that. Now it's really important to first focus on the movement. So you see, before I start drawing the actual lines a little slowly, I like to put in something to show the movement and the general direction, okay? And it goes all the way to here. So first cylinder will be something like this. And we'll round up here because it's moving slightly away from us, okay? Then the other one is moving a lot more away from us, or maybe a little more away from us, and it goes like this, okay? And then the hand. We'll get it in just a moment. You see how in this, how do I want to show that? So, yeah, I think we're good. Now what happens is, and I'm not an expert on the back anatomy, but you do have the latissimus dorsi going somewhere from, I believe, from around the arm. So I will add a muscle just to show the motion, okay? So it goes somewhere like this, and then it connects at the back. Okay, so you see this nice little wavy pattern. And then the front, you will get actually the pecs somewhere around here. Okay, so, well, probably a little higher. Again, I'm not going to go into the anatomy as much, but just wanted to maybe show a bit of it. You can actually follow the seam line and see a lot of interesting things here. But anyways, we can do like, by the way, sorry if there's noise. I will soon see what you're writing in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me over this sound, okay? Just let me know so I'm not too worried. If you can't, it's not going to be the end of the world. I'll do more drawing then. Okay, but basically this wraps up the front, the upper part of the body. Let's go quickly and wrap up the bottom, and then I'll do some more explanation, and we'll see where it goes, okay? Again, these are things I'm still learning, like the deep anatomy, so you'll have to excuse me, I don't have super control of everything. And thank you so much, Dave. 79 chat and only 50 likes. Please give a like. Thank you so much. Please, if you can. It helps the video reach more people. Now, if we continue this line at the back, where do we end up with? The neck. Okay, and this is really important. So let me show you. We go from the back here all the way to the back of the neck. And that places the head somewhere around here. Okay? Now the head is actually facing in that direction. That's the front. And we're looking at it slightly from below. Okay? Now you get to see some of the motion. Now let's put in the legs. It's going to really put things in perspective. So for the legs, there isn't really, at least I still haven't learned a good method of connecting them here to the pelvis. I think the Riley method will help with that. So so once I learn that, I will share it. But if you just observe the reference, you'll see that the leg is, I guess, somewhere around here. That's where it starts. Now it goes in that direction. So you want this oval representing its base to be around that kind of a direction, if that makes sense. Now if you just look at the knee, it's not the same line as this. Obviously it's a little outside, so we'll place it here. Let's put a line and see if that works. So you got one knee around the same line of the hand approximately, and this one is again facing towards us. And that's how you build it as a three-dimensional shape. Okay, so that's one, and that's the direction. Now if you really want it to be clear, let's clean it up. So let's get rid of everything that's behind it because we don't see it. Okay, like this. Now let's see where the bottom of the leg should be. So it's kind of longer than this, so somewhere around here. This is where it should end. Now the angle, again, let me show you, let me clean it better. If I do this just myself, I'd go slow and clean it up. I need to really train myself not to be afraid to do that, even though we're live streaming. But in any case, look at the leg. This wraps around like this, okay? It moves towards us. Now the knee is going to be somewhere around here, and this is where it really is useful to study perspective, because you really want to be able to tell what the angle of the knee is very often if you'll do a more detailed work. Let me give you a hint. If that's the leg, and this is the field at the back, can you see that the field kind of rocks? Sorry about that. Rocks against the leg. Okay. So sorry about that. I have to lower the volume. But what I'm suggesting is that we take a look at the knee from below. Okay? This is really bad. Okay, I'm gonna write it down. Looking at the knee. I'm gonna mute myself for a few moments. Okay, I think we're good. Sorry about that. So, I'm guessing at least, sorry Mark, I know that was really loud, that we're looking at the knee from below. So perhaps the angle should be, yeah, I know. Okay, let's do this. So let me draw for a while in quiet and then I'll explain what I'm doing. Okay, so I got confirmation that the noise is over. Sorry about that. I know that was extremely loud. Okay, so basically this part of the leg is coming towards us, ever so slightly. So we'll indicate it with a small angle like this. Okay, the more extreme it is, the more it comes towards us, and this, it may be worth to expand on that for a moment. Cylinders. When you look at a cylinder from the side, you'll get something like this, just from the side perfectly. Now, and soon I'll address some questions in the chat. I know there are a couple. Now, if we tilt it like this, we'll see a bit more of the bottom side. So let's draw that. So you can see a bit more of the low plane. And it moves slightly away from us. So you'll get this kind of an angle. What really helps is to really show the side section by just wrapping it with these curves. And I'm going to show you a good example of that in just a moment. So think of these as just flat straight lines here, and then when you rotate it, it goes like that. One more thing you need to take into consideration is that it gets shorter the more it's tilted at an angle, because we see it shorter. I have explained this a couple of times. Now, if we tilt it a little more, you'll see more of it, of the front, and it gets even shorter, okay? Like this. That was really bad. That was a really bad line, sorry about that. Like this. And then if you tilt it more, it will be even more extreme, okay? So something like that. And this is actually what happens with the leg here. It's aimed towards us. So this goes like this. The base of the leg goes like that. And these are the lines that wrap around that. So I hope that makes sense. Now we'll do the other leg. Now the other leg's a little trickier, I'll be honest. Let me know if you can hear me properly now. So this, it kind of moves away from us down to here. And if it moves away from us, then this closes up like that, okay? Now, the most common issue I see with people doing figure drawing and drawing people, the biggest problem is that you just can't feel the volumes, the three-dimensional volumes. That's the main problem I see with people. So for example, you'll get a leg that maybe looks like this. And the problem with it is that you can't tell exactly what you're looking at. Like, is it moving towards us? Is it moving away from us? You see that's foot. That's the problem. So I don't care if you simplify a lot, but you really need to show these volumes and to let the viewer know, are they moving towards us or away from us? Okay? It could be the other way around. It could be like from above. So if we're looking at this leg from above, it will go like this, and then maybe like that, you know, away from us, and then maybe you get an ankle here and a foot there, or whatever. It doesn't matter, but you see it moves away from us. So that's an important thing to have in mind. Always think in terms of three-dimensional volumes. And thank you so much, Mahai and Rinska, for letting me know. So let's wrap up the other leg, and then we'll conclude this one. Okay, did my best. This is kind of a warm-up. Again, the beginning. Usually end up messing up quite a few of these until something is really, bam, it feels good, you get the gesture you wanted and everything. But you see, now it feels like there's actually motion in that. Okay, and the most important thing, treat these as three-dimensional forms. So now you can really feel the three-dimensionality of the legs. You can see their direction. Don't jump into drawing the contour lines and the knee and all of that. That doesn't matter as much. What matters is this overarching thing. Now, if I have to wrap around the back or the torso, I'll go like this, and I know how to wrap around it. See how correct it feels when you can know that? Now for the hands, I don't want to go into deep anatomy, but basically what you get for the wrist is something like this. Let me make this part larger, okay? Here. What happens is you get the arm moving in that direction, right? And it moves away from us. You see? What happens in that area is around the hand, and this is a nice quick tip for you, around the hand it gets a little more square. So if you look at my hand like this, I can actually, I won't draw on it, sorry, but you see that it becomes more of a box. This here is rounded, and then it becomes a box. So you want to pay attention to that box. So in this reference, and let me make it a little larger so we can see it a little better. Look at the hand, the left hand, okay? You get this box of a wrist like this. Even though the arm starts round, it starts round, but then it slowly becomes boxy. Okay, and then that connects to the different parts of the arm, which in this example we have where all the fingers are, and the thumb will go something like this. This is an interesting grip actually. And then you see there's this nice fanning motion. I did talk about it in a few past videos. This should be shorter probably. There's one finger that's very dominant and goes around the ball. And the thumb as well, of course. And then the rest of the fingers kind of wrap around and help it. So you get this kind of a nice pattern like this, okay? That's for the left arm. Nothing too accurate, but just wanted to show you the approximate shape. The other arm, you can't tell much, but what I can say is it goes in that direction, and that's the boxy shape. So something like this. And then it goes around and curves and whatever, okay? So this is the first one. It's been a challenge, but let's move on to another one. I'll choose the next reference for us. I have a bunch of these, and you can write your questions in the meantime. I'll answer them in just a moment. Let me just choose one. I want one that actually shows motion well. Oh yeah, that's actually a really good one. Let's see. I have a bunch of these, but I want to show you one in particular. So I'll put it on the screen, and then we'll talk about it. I do want to show you, let's get rid of this, the idea of the contour lines wrapping around. Okay, so if I'll add this photo, contour, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Image, contour, or side section, if you will. Oh, I already have one. Okay, side section. There's this account on DeviantArt. DeviantArt is a good place for references, but you see this kind of a thing. Their photos make me laugh always, but they're really good. So you see it actually, the suit she's wearing has these contour lines, so you can tell where every limb is directed. And that's actually very useful. I won't draw this one for now, maybe later, but I just wanted you to see this. Now, let's see if you have any questions, and we'll go for it. I'm gonna go back a bit. Let's see. Okay. Okay, yeah. We'll continue. Sorry if I missed your question. You can ask it again if I missed it, and I'll see it probably. You practice this technique every day? No, not every day, but probably every 2 or 3 days. That's my balance at the moment. Every 2 to 3 days, I guess. I practiced this a lot, like very intensely a few months back. I did every day. I did like a long anatomy session. Kimberly says I'm drawing along too. That's cool. Matsuzaka says thank you. My pleasure. Zero Senpai. Yes, same. Reflek. Hi Liron, are you drawing? How are you drawing from your shoulder? I'm having trouble understanding how to do it. Let me show you. I'm gonna switch over here. So the way I do it is just I'm lifting my hand completely from the table. Let's see if you can see. And you see I'm doing this, and it's gonna be hard when you get started. It's not gonna be easy. You have to practice doing a bunch of these shapes and lines as I've shown you before. If you're used to this, if you're always drawing like this, always, you'll have a hard time. And I had a really hard time switching over to this, but let me switch to this pencil. But once you get used to it, it gets much easier, trust me, okay? You just have to practice this. Lift the entire arm off the page and do it, okay? I know it's a challenge. Let me know if this answers your question, because it may be from a different angle, so let me know. But I had to really work my way to the point where I'm feeling comfortable with it. Phoenix says I'm drawing along too. That makes me really happy. Dave says my mannequin feels sad. Sarah Senpai, why don't you draw with a pencil grip? Yeah, I answered that. Thank you, Dave, for the love and for the like request. Mark, I love the art. Is a really good teacher. Thank you. You just joined as well, so what is happening? Welcome aboard, Mark. I really appreciate you being here. Janelle says, whoa. Chetu and Arts, wow, great work, thank you. Chetu says it's useful to me. I'm really happy to hear. Mark says it's so good, well done. Thank you. And I messed up, like it was a big struggle this last pose, but yeah. Sorry about the loud noise, Yusuf. Dave says didn't know Ruth had a motorbike. Yeah, sometimes she likes to ride her bike around. This is how animation is done. That's true. Yeah, that's a part of it. Nice tips. Thank you for that. Can you please talk about knee joint and its motion? Well, I have a funny answer for that. I actually did not dive deep enough into the legs yet. I know a lot more about this joint of the arm than the knee joint, so I'll have to do that in the future. What I do know, and I forgot the name, but if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember the names of the joints. I believe it's a joint that allows, obviously, for this kind of movement, so like a pivot type of joint, but it's probably ellipse, so it allows for a bit of movement sideways. Basically what this means is that one axis is very easy to move in, and then you get a bit of motion to the sides, okay? The same for the fingers. The reason you can actually move a bit is because I believe it's the same kind of a joint. Let me show you. Don't take that as gospel, because I'm still learning this stuff, but when you have this kind of a joint that's elliptical, okay, so imagine that this is I guess one bone, and this is the joint, and then on top of that you have another bone that meets it, and I may be completely wrong. If there's a doctor in the audience, let us know what kind of a joint it is. But then you have another bone. So what will happen is this goes inside the socket. It's kind of a ball and this is kind of a socket. And I believe the movement in this direction is easier than in this direction, but it is possible. So this is why you can actually move your, your legs a bit to the sides, but this is the more obvious movement. I hope that makes sense. I believe it's this kind of a joint, but I may be mistaken. Joints, I need to revise that. I don't actually remember what all the joints are. But if you talk about the actual anatomy of it, that's another thing I still need to learn. So I won't talk about it today, but I will try maybe show more things that I actually know. Daichi Shinomori, this feels like a silly question, but will you trace over your gesture drawing once you start the final outline? Yeah, it's not a silly question at all. Very often what I can do is put in the gesture, then do the construct. So first I'll do like a gesture, like, let me get rid of this. We got the idea, side sections. First I'll do a gesture, and on top of that I can start adding in the three-dimensional volumes, okay? So yeah, for sure. It's just two different approaches. One focuses on motion and is very quick, is meant to teach you how to see movement and patterns in the body. The other one is more about having a feeling of three-dimensionality. It doesn't mean that this doesn't feel like it has motion. If I did a good job, it will feel like that. But it's more focused towards the construction side of things. Okay. Khushbu Motwani, can you draw Bollywood star Tiger Shroff stepwise with shading? I don't know, maybe. I don't do a lot of shading in pencil too, and I don't do many portraits as well with pencil, so maybe something for the future. Nancy G, great info, loving this lesson. Khushbu, do you know Bollywood star? No, I don't, sorry. I don't know any stars, by the way, not just Bollywood. I don't know, I barely remember names of actors and stuff like that. I'm gonna close the window. It's going to be both less noisy, and now it's getting colder. To Rinske, thanks. I always had trouble of showing the movement of my sketch. Now I know why. Sujanith, I'm doing daily portrait drawing, but need to do anatomy, as you said. Yeah, learn the anatomy of the face if you have to first. Sweet Art says, good night. I'm Indian, so I guess it's night in India in some places. Mahai, I think I really need to change how I hold my pencil. Practice this way. It's a good way to practice. Felix Graham, I like the technique you draw with your hand. I draw the first technique you show. I want to make comics and must learn good anatomy. Yeah, keep following because I will show more of that in the future because I'm doing now the manga. Okay, yeah. Let's hinge joint. Knee is hinge. Ball and socket is hip. Knee hinge. So Sujanith, it's interesting because hinge joint, let me see this. I'm actually not sure. Hinge joint, let's see. I know that hinge joints mostly allow for, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, I get it. Hinge joint. So here's the thing. One socket, hinge joint 5, number 5. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, so it's one I haven't learned yet. Okay, that makes sense. So sorry for providing false information. But yeah, Marco, I have trouble with circles. Sometimes I notice you draw them in the opposite direction I do. I just tried drawing a few in the other direction, and it's easier. I'm right-handed. Ah, interesting. So yeah, I think, yeah, if you try it like that, it could be interesting to practice for me. It feels the same to me, to be honest with you. I don't feel the difference, but if it works for you the other way around, go for it. So here's what we'll do. Let's continue with some more figures. We'll do maybe a gesture. Let's do this one. This is nice. We'll do a gesture, and we'll see how it goes. And then we'll try construction as well. Okay. Usually I'll do like a warm-up where I just do a lot of gestures. But we'll do it this way today. So we have this dude right here. Let me make myself smaller. You don't need to see as much of me. We'll make this one a little larger, and we'll put this behind. So we have this dude. And let's do a gesture. Let's try it out. I may have to do a couple of tries because, again, this is... let's just move this to the left and then work on the right side. Okay. So, Ruth, the daily cameo. Okay, Okay, you may see her jump now. Take a close look. Just a second. You're telling her higher. She's lazy and tired today. Okay, Ruth jumps really high. You have no idea. Like she can probably reach this height. But in any case, okay, let's continue with the gesture. So we're gonna work with this one, and I'll do my best to, I don't know, I guess get a nice gesture going here. But so I'll just try and see what feels right to me, and then we'll see if that works. And just make sure you can see me. Sorry about the logistical stuff. I'm not used to this setup, but okay. So one big part of this that I see is the motion, obviously in that direction, something like that. And we get a very interesting kind of balance again with the shoulders and the, I guess, pelvis that goes like this, because obviously one leg is raised, okay? For the most part, you'll find that the leg on which more balance is based is this side of the pelvis is taller. But in this example, because he's actually raising his leg, you get a very extreme angle where the pelvis goes like this, okay? So let's put the head in. I'm gonna try it out without talking too much. We'll see how it goes, okay? I'm gonna go quiet for a while. Okay, so I'll definitely try doing another one. I don't like this. Sometimes it just takes a long time to warm up, to be honest with you. Let's try something a little different. Let's try doing the same kind of a bean we did earlier. So if that's the rib cage, it goes like this. And then this really twists, and you can actually see the pinch here. You can actually see how much it pinches here on the left side. So that's really something I want to show. Let me try again. We'll see how it goes. We'll run through paper until we get it right. And if we don't, it's too bad. So I'm going to do this thing here. Maybe it'll help it focus. So another go. Let's try a bit of a different approach. So that's the legs. And this goes here. This goes like that. Then this goes up like this. And goes down like that. I'll insist this is the movement I see here. Like this. And then this goes down all the way. Okay, so this is a little better. And then I'll actually change it up a bit. I'll go like this, and then I'll reverse. We'll see how that works. See how many lines I need to get, because I don't know if I'm not warmed up or just, I don't know. But I think this one makes a little more sense. I think. So here we go. Maybe something like this, I guess. And then this goes here. Okay. So maybe it's a little clearer. I don't know. Let's try actually constructing this. This is very challenging. I don't know why I'm so challenged by these today. Honestly, I have no idea why. Like I'm really off today. really off. The proportions are all wrong, and proportions are a thing that can be forgiven when doing gestures. But I don't know if to that extent. I'll do this kind of a thing. So I'm trying to figure it out here with you. But I think for this one, nothing good will come out of it. So let's do this. Let's try something a little different. What I want to do... okay, let's do this. I want to focus on the upper body because you can actually see it here. Let's do this. I'm going to cut out the top part. And I'll show you an attempt to do a study of the torso, okay? We'll give it a go. We'll see how it goes. Let's get rid of this one. And I know today's a little slower because, again, I'm practicing this pretty much. So torso, and we'll add this one. Here we go. Okay. Why can't I see it? Oh yeah, okay, it's right in the corner. So I'll make it a little larger. So let's do something a little different. Let me show you how I actually do studies of muscles. At least how I try. Today I seem to be out of my element, but I'll go with the method I know, and I'm not sure how to verbalize. Let's just start. So I'm gonna put in, let's move this a little to the left. I'll soon look at the questions, okay? And I do want to add this kind of a thing here. So let's do this. I'll start just by building the shapes three-dimensionally as I see them. And by the way, you asked about the head, so this is how I do it at least. I look at the angle. So it goes, we're looking at it slightly from below because you can see it in the eyes. They're a little at an angle like this. And then the side of the head, I'll cut it off like this, carve out a side plane, okay? And then the chin is somewhere around here. We'll drop a line to the chin from here. We'll drop a straight line here. We'll go like this, and we'll connect that to the chin. That's how I build currently the head in three-dimensional space. It's not going to be 100%, but it's going to be okay. Maybe this will warm me up a bit for anatomy, I don't know. So this is the chin. What you'll see here is you got this is where the eyebrows are. And then, and let's see that you can see me well. Yeah, okay. So this is where the eyebrows are. You get a bit of a dip, and then you get the cheek, and it connects to the chin. Okay, so something like this. And I think that's enough for this pose. What happens here? So the head's looking slightly to the left. Maybe I exaggerated it a bit. That's fine. The neck comes from here, and then we have the pit of the neck. So that's around here. And it goes, connects here. This you can't see because of the fist, but we'll get to that later on. Now, what happens here, we have the pit of the neck, and then there's the clavicle. So the bone that goes from this direction connects to the left. And then this entire thing, so to get the rib cage the right size, you need to figure out the approximate size of the cranial unit is what's called. It's this part without the jaw. So it's this, so our rib cage is going to be about twice the length, about twice. So this is kind of its size. Now, you see the center line here? Center line of the abs and the pecs, and then the abs. You want to follow that, and you'll notice that the belly button is kind of aligned with the chin, like this, okay? So it goes like that. We'll try it out. We'll see if we can get some kind of a construction to look nicely here. Now, I do think it should be a little lower. So we have one. Yeah, we're good. We're actually good. The rib cage itself, again, this kind of a length. So it's going to be somewhere in this approximate area. Okay, this is where the neck connects to it. Just going through my process with you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, yeah. Because of the pandemic, live modeling sessions have been cancelled, so I wanted to have... That'll be kind of creepy. Yeah, I get it. Any advice on how to go about it? It's too bad we had Croaky Cafe and then they stopped. I'll try addressing it later. But in any case, clavicle coming from the pit of the neck. And then we get another one. Now, the angle of the shoulders is pretty much horizontal, so nothing too interesting there. And then here's where it gets interesting. So here on top of the rib cage, you have this is the, what do you call it? The arch, the thoracic arch, I believe. Goes like this. Like that. Here we go. Okay, so we got a rib caging. This is something you actually have to learn, like how it works and what it looks like. This is where anatomical knowledge gets into the picture. Okay, you really have to learn these things. I'm not guessing. Now, approximately the same distance of the head around here is where the pecs are. They wrap around the rib cage like this, okay? Kind of like that. But I do want to put in some other details here. So let's put some kind of an indication for the hand. The arm. The arm ends somewhere around the nose here, and it comes out of this area. What happens is, anatomy, you have the clavicle, you have the scapula at the back, and these connect somewhere around here, and the base of the arm is under that, okay? So the humerus, I think this is the bone, is going to go something like this. Now, I'm not going to draw the humerus itself. I'll draw a simplified kind of version of the cylinder of the arm, okay? So, something like this. Okay, I hope that makes sense. We'll build the anatomy on top of that, and we'll go like this. It seems like I'm having a bit of an easier time with the construction method today. So sometimes you just go with what you feel comfortable with. Sometimes the gestures won't flow as well. Like I can show you tons of terrible gestures I did here and a lot of good ones. If something doesn't work well that day, work on something else. Okay, you can see me applying this tip. So I'm going to start here by adding, let's indicate the, should I go with the pelvis as well? Let's indicate some of the pelvis, okay? So we have one of the pieces, I believe it's called pieces, again I kind of forgot, but we have one here and another one somewhere around here. It's the bony landmarks, again, they're somewhere down there of the pelvis. It's something you can actually see on the surface. And so that's the kind of direction of the pelvis, okay? Now look at what happens here, probably closer actually, probably around here. Now, do you see, if you follow this line, do you see that there's a little bump here? If you really look at it closely, you'll see this kind of a bump. Let me know in the chat if you can see it. That's that, I believe, 10th rib. Okay, that's where the skin goes like this and it kind of bumps a little outwards. Okay, so maybe you can see it, maybe you don't, that's fine. Just wanting to see if you can see it. Now let's start building in the muscles here. So the pecs go on the first 2/3 of the clavicle and the sternum. So there will be somewhere around here, and they come out of these, and they actually connect on the arm. Okay, and I don't remember if that's the bicipital groove or something else, so don't take me for my word. But what I really want to show you is put them both together. Simplify the structure, okay? So that's one, and look at where it goes. It goes into the arm. And that's the second one, again goes into the arm, somewhere around this area, if I'm not mistaken. So that will be the pecs. Okay, now they do have a bit of a mass down here, and here, and then the nipples here. Okay, so that will be the structure for that. Now for me, the easiest next move would actually be to put in the abs. So let's try for that. So the abs come out from, actually, I believe behind the pecs, somewhere around here. we'll see how it goes. And then let me get rid of some of these guidelines from before. Taking you through my process. It's a bit of a long process, but that's how you have to do it if you want to improve. And I believe, so this is at a bit of an angle, and this is also at a bit of an angle, and then it kind of flattens a bit, and flattens again. So this will kind of be the structure for the abs, and then it continues actually all the way down to the, I believe, the center of the pelvis, if I'm not mistaken. Like that, okay? So we kind of got a structure here. Let me make some of the lines a little stronger. Okay. Now there's a bunch of muscles here. I believe, let's do the deltoids. So the deltoids come out from around the, let me show you on myself. Not that I have big muscles at all, but so this is what I've shown you. The clavicle leads all the way up to this point, and then that's the point you saw here. Let me show you. It's this point right here. From that and around this area, the deltoids come out onto the arm. So let me show you. They reach about midway through the arm. Now this arm is facing towards us. Okay. By the way, if this is incredibly boring, let me know. I'll continue, but let me know just so that I know for future live streams. So it comes over around the middle of the arm. It comes out of here. And it actually comes out from around this area. So we have a part that goes around here, wraps around the arm, and then another part that goes from behind and connects here. So something like that, okay? And that'll be the deltoids. Now, we forgot something. There's the trapezius from behind. So it's this muscle here. From the back, it actually starts from the back of the neck, and it goes curved at a curvy pattern to this point that I just showed you as well. Okay, slowly building it up. Let me take a break and look at some comments, and then we'll continue this. I want to see if we're like what's going on in the chat. I know some of you are just drawing while watching, so that's cool. Let me see. Go back a bit. Yeah, okay, so Mark says about the circles. Zero Senpai, by the way, thanks a lot for answering my silly question. Not a silly question at all. Awanish Tripathi says, hi, I'm new here, welcome aboard. Meda Halmachu, hi from Romania, great drawing, thank you so much. Danica Mayor Ramirez, what is the easiest way in drawing feet in different directions and the way feet hold? So you'll have to do a lot of studies. Go on Google and just search feet, and you have to draw as many as you can. I would also learn the underlying anatomy. I think it is important. So you want to work both on the anatomy, and let me move this to the side. You want to work both on the anatomy and also on just drawing from observation. The two will click together. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Mark Uket, how many days in a week do you do a live drawing? I do once on Thursdays, live streams, drawing or painting. Sarah Senpai, always so cute. Rizka, hi Ruth, everyone loves Ruth. Hello Ruth. Sujanith, at your stage of experience, how much percentage of your time do you spend on drawing only? Drawing only, that'll be probably 20 to 30%, 25% of the time, probably. But it really changes. Some weeks I'll be like, okay, I have to put a serious dent and learn more, and then I'll really focus on it. But yeah, sometimes I'll go a little lighter on the practice. By the way, I got the shape of the deltoids wrong. I have to fix it now. So you see, it doesn't go all the way up to here. It actually wraps around like this. And if you just look at the reference, you'll see these mistakes and you can fix them. So this now makes a little more sense. Okay, you see it's kind of like a teardrop shape. Wraps around. It actually wraps around this area. Christine Bourgeois, hey Ruth, Sticky Web Channel, hi again. 123 Rockfan. Because of the pandemic, live modeling sessions have been cancelled, so I wanted to hire a model for a private session, but I'm afraid that'll be kind of creepy. Any advice on how to go about it? I've never done that, so I can't really give advice. But there are a lot of online resources that you can try. I know it's not exactly the same, it's not as good, but that's the next best thing. That's what I do, at least. Do you find it easier to draw from a live model rather than a photo? Is it easier to get proportions, volume, and angles? I will say this. Whatever you practice more gets easier. So If you're very used to drawing from a live model, it will become easier. If you're very used to drawing from photos, it will be easier. So it's really what you practice more. I really believe that from my own personal experience. Mark, do you have Copic markers? Yes, I have a few. I barely use them. Marjorie Johnson, I have impingement tendonitis in my drawing shoulder. I find it easier to stand when doing warm-ups or drawing using it. Yeah, that makes sense. So sometimes you'll have to do it standing up, and maybe you'll have a paper in front of you at an angle. So not flat, obviously, at a bit of an angle. Sorry to hear about that. I hope it doesn't bug you too much while drawing and painting. James Elvaker, what about the negative spaces? They help anytime. Like this, you can use negative spaces to get things accurately here as well, for sure. I didn't use much of it, and this is a little too low again, so let's fix that. I didn't use much of it here, but you can use always negative spaces to really see shapes more accurately. John, really great live today. We'll have to go now, my friend. Thank you. Thank you, John. You can catch the rest later. And thank you so much for the kind words always. Abhijit, love from India. Thank you so much. Danica Mea Ramirez, when drawing anatomy is harder than your exam. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a big challenge. So let's continue. Let's see where we can take this one, okay? So I fixed the deltoids. Now we have the biceps, which I'm honestly not an expert on, but you see them here. So that'll be the bicep muscle. When the arm is like this, it's actually active. You can feel it. When you go like this, it's not active. Like this, it is active. And because his arm is folded, it's slightly active. So it will show a bit more mass, like this. And we can kind of pull it all the way here, all the way to the elbow. Let's do a bit of cleanup, like that. And then we have the triceps. Again, not a big expert on those as well, so I'm just going to go for it and try it out like this, all the way to the elbow. This is the axis of movement for the elbow, so I'll get it in just for clarity's sake. And then we get the lower arm. There's a bit of there are a bunch of complex muscles here I still need to dive deeper on, but yeah. And here you get the same kind of an effect of this getting to be a little more boxy. So here it's a little rounder, and then as you get to this area, it gets a little boxier, okay? So we're done with this section. I'm gonna go over everything with pen later on so you can actually see some of the details. But in any case, for now, that'll do. Here we have the obliques. The obliques are another muscle I really need to improve my perception of. We'll see about that. But for now, it's just going to kind of go like that. And look at the folding here. So this goes like that. And then you really get these creases here because of the way he's twisted. Okay, this is twisted. It's not a straight line. It's not a straight line. It's actually like this. Okay, so something like that. Now what you see here is actually a combination of a couple of things, if I'm not mistaken. You see some of the lats, but you also see some of the serratus, which is this really cool muscle here. One of my favorites really to represent. Now it goes like this, I believe. So you have these kind of tooth pattern to it, something like that, you see. And the muscle it connects with is actually the obliques. There's the upper obliques and then the lower obliques. So the lower obliques is actually the fatty pad is next to the fatty pad on the side, so you barely see it. But the upper obliques, you actually get to see the tooth of it, which are these, okay? And the serratus comes around from here and connects to those. I hope that makes sense. It's a big mess here, but hopefully that makes sense. You can't see the serratus really on the other side because it's in the shadow, so we'll skip that. Yeah, I believe that's how it's structured. Hopefully I'm right, I don't know. But yeah, I think this is enough for this one. Let me go over it with a pen just to get some lines to show better. And then we'll move on to do another type of a movement or motion or gesture. I have a couple of others. You'll let me know when you get tired. Just let me know and we can stop. How long have we been going? Oh, for an hour and a half almost. Okay, we're good. So just this. And again, I'm just going to go over kind of the most of it, but not everything. So yeah, neck. By the way, there's a cool muscle here, the cleidomastos. What do you call it? I forgot. Sternocleidomastoid. It goes from behind the ear, and you can actually see a lot of it very often, and connects to the pit of the neck like this. It's a rounded kind of, this kind of a shape muscle. Yeah. Something like this. Maybe it'll, in this example, will it go towards us or away from us? I think that's interesting. I think it goes like this, slightly away from us, like that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's a bit of a funny muscle, and then on the other end it just pinches, but it's also obviously it's also there. It goes like this, and then we get. Sorry for continuously obstructing the screen. Then we get the pit of the neck and the clavicles, and then the pecs. So this goes like this, goes behind the deltoids, if I'm not mistaken, kind of like that. I'm just doing this so you can better see the end result, I guess. Like that. Goes up because it's going to connect to the arm on the other side. Then we get the nice little contour of the left side, like this. Belly button. This will be the biceps here and the triceps behind the arm. Serratus and lat. Goes in this very interesting pattern. Digits, kind of a thing. And you get all of these. Abs. This pinch here, very nice pinch. Like that. And yeah, I think this is pretty much it. Again, not the best, but at least it shows you how I approach doing some of these anatomy studies. Probably the head's a little too big. Should have done it smaller. Let's try and make it smaller. No. Okay, let's do a couple of quick, I guess. Oh yeah, and I forgot the traps. Here and here. And here we'll have the delt on the other side, so that makes sense. Hopefully we'll have the biceps somewhere around here. But anyways, looks really thin in the camera. I don't know why. Okay, cool. So let's do another one. Let's see which one I want to do next. We'll do a quick one. I think then we can wrap it up. We have this one. This one's complex. Let's try. Maybe you should try it out. So let me show you something. Let me, or maybe you should do something that's a little more gesture. I don't know. It's the first time I do these kinds of things, but let's do this. This is fun. So we have a ninja kind of a thing here. Let's see how we can approach it. Ninja. Browse. Okay. I think this is going to be one of the last ones we'll do today. So, okay. So what we have here is this kind of a figure in a very nice kind of extreme pose. Maybe battle pose, I don't know, something like this. Now here the gesture isn't necessarily as clear, but it can actually play in our favor, because when everything is foreshortened, like it's looking straight at us, it can actually get a little easier. So let me show you. We have this kind of a movement here. I'll actually use the next page. Let's go here. Let's see that you can see me properly. And then let's do this. Hope it focus. Hopefully, yeah, okay, we're good. Okay, so let's work a little larger this time. We have this kind of the back side. This is where the head is, kind of in the middle. Now, 1, 2, 3, so about 3 heads to the bottom, just so that I have some kind of a way of measuring. There's this leg that's insanely foreshortened. So that's a leg, believe it or not. Like that. So it goes around. The arm is actually at the back here, way at the back holding the sword. We'll get that later on. Here we have the torso. We have another arm that goes in that direction. Now here's where you really want to look at the motion of it. To me it looks like it goes like this. See, that's a really nice gesture. Just one curved line that goes from this area to the bottom, connects to the hand. Okay, and you see I'm not following contours, I'm just trying to draw the direction, the movement as I see it. We have another leg here, a little smaller at the back. So these poses can sometimes play in our favor. The more dynamic it is, sometimes the easier it is to capture. So here we go. So we got something very basic, but still we got the gist of the pose. And you see how fast that was? So that's what I was trying to show you all along. Okay, this is the kind of a process for gesture drawing. If you can quickly understand the motion here, and if you can very directly express to the viewer what happens here, that's what you're after. And here you see you don't need many lines to figure out that you're looking at this kind of a dynamic, maybe action pose. Now this could probably go a little closer. Now we can, on top of that, as mentioned before, start drawing some shapes. Okay, let's see where we can develop this using some three-dimensional knowledge. So if this is the arm, let's clean up some of the lines here. That's better. So if this is the arm and it's moving towards us, that'll be around the shoulder, right? So this goes all the way around the head and around here, and what we actually got is the shoulder girdle, so this entire structure of the shoulders. We're looking at it from above. Why? Because the person is really crouching forward. Now let's get some definition on the head. You see the slight angle, so we're looking at it, he's looking down, so we see some of the top of the head slightly tilted to the left. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And I'll soon look at some of your comments. Sorry about that. I know there are quite a few. You see I'm alternating between failures, successes. Failures, successes. That's just how it is when you practice these things. You see here I'm actually missing the oblique. I just now realized this should go here. Now the structure makes a little more sense in terms of the shape. But in any case, just saw it on the other side and had to fix it. So now we have that top part, okay? And we can start based on that structure some more elements. So the torso is here, right? So this line, you don't see much of it. We have the leg here and the knee. Actually, not much at all is really, okay, yeah, that obstructs it. So it goes like this. Then this goes like that. At this point, you're done with the gesture, obviously. Now I'm trying to develop it into something else. So this is the pelvis, very extreme angle, a little challenging. Let's just add some solidness to it, make it a little more three-dimensional. So the arm, if you look closely, it's slightly towards us, ever so slightly, okay, very gentle. What I think happens here is it goes a bit in that direction, okay? Which means, basically what I'm saying is this hand is closer to us than the shoulder, okay? That's all I'm saying here, with these slight lines, the slight ovals. Now the leg is doing the other thing. It's actually moving away from us. So from the shoulder, the knee, that's the angle of the knee here. Goes like that, okay? Connects to the pelvis somewhere around here. It's actually moving away from us. There's this flat plane here, and then it connects to the cylindrical shape. So it moves away from us like that. And to describe that, we're looking at it from above because it moves to the back. It's actually gonna go like this, you see? I hope that makes sense. Now for the leg itself, it's moving towards us. We'll go the other way around. And you see how it gives it more form, just more three-dimensionality? I hope that makes sense. I'm happy I finally was able to nail something here because this session was a challenge, believe me. This arm is very clearly moving away from us to the back, okay? This here, the form of the leg is going like this, if we want to describe it with a side section. And you can actually start adding some muscle definition if you want to. Now this leg, this is tricky. So if you look at this leg, it doesn't really move towards us or away from us. It's kind of flat. So it's hard to tell. I think there's a very slight movement towards us. So the knee is closer. So we'll go with a very, very gentle indication here. Very gentle. Then this goes like this, like that. Now, if we want to start adding some more details, as I mentioned, let's add some arm muscles. So remember what I told you about the deltoids coming out from this edge of the shoulder girdle, basically. So we have the meeting point of the clavicle and the clavicle and the scapula. And from around that, the deltoids come out and they reach to the middle of the upper arm. So something like this, okay? So this is what you'll get. The pecs will go from this area down, so they'll barely be visible, but you'll get something like maybe like this, okay? Probably not even that, so you'll go maybe like this. Slight double curve, maybe. Back is very tricky in this pose. I'll go with something like that. Let's make the head a little more prominent. And now we added some volume to that, okay? So that's the turning it into simplified cylinders and simplified shapes like that. This actually goes down like this and like that, I guess. So I hope that makes sense. I can continue and maybe add the clothes. Let's do that. Let's see what you're saying. Here's what I'll do. I'll actually add the clothes and details with the pen. Okay, we'll go over it and just add the clothes and folds and creases. Okay, we'll do that in a second. Let me see what you're saying. Not too many comments to go over. Luckily, Sarah Portrait on IG, amazing. Thank you so much, Ananisman. I'll show you Anansiman. I'll show it to you here, and we'll remove the tape together. Mark, I'm drawing with graphite pencils. Do you have any tips for drawing with them? Not much actually. I'm using just normal pencils. Maybe in the future when I use them, I'll have some better insights for you. Abhijit, PH. I'm a BA animation student. Yesterday I studied the human anatomy and proportions. I love this like drawing. That's cool. That's really cool. Kinza Ahmed. Hello, Liron. Sorry for joining late, starting from the beginning to catch up. Cool. Sumitra Shir Sagar. Hi. How to decide which line will be useful to start for a gesture drawing or in any other drawing? And congratulations for 100K. Thank you so much for that. So what I will do is search for the longest line. That's how I would approach this. So the longest line, when you look at this pose, will probably be something like this. You see, that's kind of the longest line you can recognize that just goes in one go, okay? You could also go with this kind of a shape. Again, very often it will be slightly subjective. So maybe I personally recognize this curve and you recognize this one more. And what happens is you'll choose to focus on this one and it will affect the end result. It will make our studies and gestures a little different from one another, which is perfectly fine. There's more than one right way or one correct way to do gestures, okay? So have that in mind. It's actually could be an interesting practice session to try a few different interpretations, okay? I hope that makes sense. It's interesting. I just really was able to see where the rib cage is going to go. It's probably around here. Then the pelvis. Okay. In any case, that's how I go with longest line. That's how it is for me. Barb White, the ninja could be a good Spider-Man pose for sure. Gewon, Bess, VB, hi. Hey, Ian Jackson, it's a classic Spider-Man pose for sure. Phoenix Official, good night. Secrets de Design, thanks to Mitra, very good question. Thanks to Ron for your wise answer. Thank you so much. Harsha Canella, hi. Secrets de Design, very useful. Oh, okay, so I'm really happy this helped. Let's add some of the folds and creases to it, just for fun. We'll see where it gets us. I'm not going to do this super detailed at all. But one thing I do see is that there's this kind of a vest, obviously. So if I had to put it in, it'll go somewhere around here. Now, this doesn't mean I do it like this. I'll do it in pencil first, for always. But just because it's already so dark so that you can see I'm going with the pen so you can even better see it. So some very interesting folds in the cloth here. You see, they go... Folds and clothes are a whole different dynamic, really. It's another thing I'm trying to dive even deeper on. But they basically are stretched between different points of tension. Now this part is really in the shadow, so you can't see too much, but we'll go with this like a guess. This goes here. Here we have this glove, and you see how it follows that same direction of these lines, of the contour cross-section lines, you see? It's the same direction. These are all good hints as for the direction. And here we have a few folds and clothes and the glove, like that, because of its just being squeezed. The hand, 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. One thing that can really help to indicate gloves is to show the seam lines. So you will really see all of these details. Go like this. I don't know if I want to do the fingers. Let's do them real quick. Fingers are can be a huge challenge sometimes, but here we go. Something like that. Now here you'll get a lot of folds that come from the knee, I believe, because it's a tension point again. This goes around. You'll get a few of these kind of spiral folds. You'll get a lot of them within this area as well. Look at the boot, how it goes around in the same direction we've indicated here. Goes back, lots of folds and creases on it because it bends here. Okay, then it goes all the way to the front. This goes like that. This goes like this. So we're done with that. And you see how it starts to take shape, hopefully. It's fun. I'm happy we got to finalize something. I don't know, feels good. Let's add this thing here. The mask around over the nose. And again, you really shouldn't do this without any guidelines. I'm just kind of, I don't know, going a little crazy here. There's a bunch of details here. I'm not going to draw them at all, I think. It's just hard to understand. The picture isn't that high quality. So I'm just going to put a few impressionistic things in here and hope they read well. Something like this. Here we have a very interesting set of folds in the cloth as well. So coming out from the where the cloth folds around the upper leg and lower leg, like this, shape of the knee. Very common kind of fold you'll get here. I actually think the boot starts here, goes all the way to the back. This is the sole, goes like this. Here we have a bunch of the vest stuff popping through. Goes like this, like that, around. Goes like that. And hopefully there's a good sense of three-dimensionality here. Now the reason there is, if there is, see, all of these objects need to be taken into consideration, their direction in space. It's really important. Now if it does work and it does look three-dimensional, the only reason is that we started with this simplified. We didn't just go for the shapes we saw and drew them as we saw them, like that. We actually let the viewer know what direction they're at by using these cross-contour lines and treating this as three-dimensional cylinders in space, or boxes, because the knee is kind of a box, as you can see here, kind of a boxy shape. Okay, I hope that makes sense, and I'm happy we could do one that's kind of proper. Let's see your comments here. Mark says, sorry, but I have to go. Bye. Enjoy, have a great rest of the day or night, whatever time it is. Phoenix says, you're a great teacher, thank you. Safia Mahobub, classics roll something something. Which pencil did you use? It's just a normal HB medium pencil. This one is by Skillcraft. Here we go. Now I'll often use this kind of mechanical pilot pencil. Not today though. Just feels like I need to go a little looser. And yeah, the pens are Faber-Castell one. Doesn't really matter which one you use, really. Another Faber-Castell. I like all sorts of brands. Easy to learn. Cool. Show your art supplies. Okay, I showed a few. What size paper did you use for learning. A4 is good for learning. Just don't go smaller. I wouldn't recommend going with smaller because then it's just hard to get a lot of details in. You want something at least A4 to work on. I did have quite a few sketchbooks so far that are larger, and it is better, okay? I do think it's slightly better if you can go for larger pages. Got water too, not just coffee. Was quite thirsty. So let's see if there's anything else interesting I want to go over, and I think we can now. Okay, yeah. One last thing. I want to show you what happens when you put perspective into action. Okay, so let's do this. This is going to be probably the last example. Hopefully you're enjoying and you're working along with me. You're doing your thing, drawing or painting, whatever you want. I'll show you one example. So here we go. It's been a tricky session today, I have to admit. Okay, so look at this extreme angle. We're looking from below, obviously. We're looking up at this figure. And this poses a lot of challenges, but what I want to do is kind of encourage you to give this kind of thing a try. Actually, let me cut the photo so that it doesn't take up so much of the space. I'll do this. Like this, like that. Just cut it out. Here we go. Okay, that's so much better. Now, I want to show you how I would treat this, because if you look at the legs really, so let me show you. Let's actually measure. So we have the feet. This is crazy foreshortening. We have the feet here. We have the belt here. And we have the neck here. Look at this, the gap in sizes. This is so foreshortened. We're looking from below and from up close. So the legs look so much longer. Like this is just, again, to reiterate, this is the upper body and this is the lower body. This is completely crazy because of that extreme angle, okay? So I want to show you how I approach this kind of a thing. And we'll wrap up with this. McMahon11, I will keep the video on the channel. I always keep all the live streams I do up. So far, at least, that's what I did. Okay, so I will keep it on the channel. So let me show you how I would approach this, because remember, the relations between the lower and upper body are actually more like this. So it's kind of, I don't know, with the head, it'll be like maybe around halfway point where the belt or the waist is. And it's very easy to miss that when you're looking at this kind of a person, but it's just such an extreme angle. So let's first figure out how to constrain it within a box, okay? Why a box? Because a box is easier to visualize in 3D than a person, okay? So if we look at the legs, the feet, one foot is here and another one is lower. So this foot is closer to us. So this line goes like this. Now, if you look at the shoulders, one shoulder is, let's say, here. The other one is actually here. So that's the angle we get. So in fact, the box we need to use to constrain it is something like this. I think something like that. Okay, it's a bit of a funny structure. You see, I'm actually going to constrain this person within this box right here, okay? Moving away from us, so it will go something like this. Luckily for us, I am experienced in perspective, so that's good. I think this is about right, okay? It's not perfect, but it's about right. No, it's not. This isn't good. I'll fix that. Okay, we're looking for an even lower angle, if I'm not mistaken. And that actually means it will open up this angle. So not like this, but rather maybe like that. Then we'll go like this. So, is it though? And this goes like this. Huh, interesting. I'm actually not sure, but we'll go with this for now. We'll see what happens. Let me show you just the basic idea, even if it's not the perfectly accurate in terms of the box, okay? So we need to place the person within this box. Now let's look at the upper body. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so actually the upper body is a third of the entire length. So 1, 2, quarter, sorry. So if this is the middle, this is another. So this is where the upper body is. So if this is the belt, see? And then we have one leg coming down at us like this, another leg coming down at us like that, and then we have one foot here. I'm just doing a very basic kind of rendering of the shapes I see. One leg here, another leg here. See how crazy that is? This is so foreshortened. We're looking at it so much from below. And then this goes like that. And bear with me, I know this is a highly simplified version, but this is the hand, goes in the pocket. Another hand. Now, it may seem a little off because you're also looking at it at an angle, but it goes like this. And then the head is maybe like that. So look at how extreme this is. To really build this in space, maybe I even exaggerated it a bit more, I don't know, but to build this kind of a thing in space, you really have to think about the three-dimensionality of the shape. So let's give it a try. Let's do another one here. So shoulders go like this. Then we have the shirt like that, pocket. This goes all the way down. Again, this 1, 2, 3, so approximately here. This is where the feet end. So here. Yeah, okay, that's good. And then one leg is like this, another leg is like that. So now, if we look at the upper body, we can actually simplify it into a box. So let's give this a try. So this is the top plane. This is the side, the left side. Goes like this, goes like that. And we see the bottom of the box because we're looking up at it. See, like that. We can actually put a rib cage here if we want to. And we're looking at it from below, so it's kind of like this. See? Just to give you an idea of how you can work this kind of a scene and, I don't know, get it to work. The pelvis is going to be a little easier in that example because it's kind of a boxy shape, so we'll go with this. It's a bit of at a bit of a tilt naturally, so maybe like that. Maybe something like this. Okay, I know it's a bit scratchy, sorry for that. And then this connects to the pelvis like that. Shoulders to the sides, neck going up like this towards the head that we're actually seeing from below. So we're seeing the connection of the chin to the neck, something like this. A very strange angle, you see, but hopefully that gives you an idea on how I will do that. Now, because the legs move towards us, I even made it a little more extreme, I know, but that's fine. Really exaggerated it. So this leg moves towards us and we're looking at it from below. All the way down to here. And then the other leg goes like this. Also towards us, also from below. A little sloppy on the contour lines, I know. And this doesn't go like that, sorry. I'm getting a little impatient, I need to work on that. Sometimes I'll just go a little crazy after doing a lot of these. So this is the leg, and this is another leg, and then the arm, kind of like this. See? So I just want to show you like one way of approaching this. This is off, I know, but this one turned out a little better. But hopefully you can see, like, you really need to pay attention to how the different shapes are in space. For example, in this angle, the pelvis does take this strange kind of angle. See? Because we're really looking at it from below. We're seeing the bottom side of it. See? So that kind of a thing. The rib cage will be a little shorter actually, because it's squeezed. It turns into a rounded kind of circle. And because it's at an angle like that, and then like this, see? And then that's the center, at a bit of an angle like that. See? You have to really construct these things in space in order to get them. Same for the hand. It goes a little towards us, and then it moves to the left, still towards us, you see? And into the pocket. Oh, that makes sense. But yeah, you can see, I think now is a good time to wrap it up. What I'm gonna do, as promised, I'm gonna remove the tape off of my portrait, okay? But before that, I just want to conclude. Okay, I just want to conclude. I want you to practice doing these kinds of gestures and construction in 3D space. The way to work on it really is to practice drawing tons of cubes. We've talked about this before, but you really want to practice doing these kinds of things. Just cubes. I know you can't see much. Just cubes in space, okay? You want to just practice doing these and rotating them in your mind's eye. Seeing them from all sorts of different angles. Okay, let's rotate it to the left. Okay, something like this maybe. You really want to practice this skill. You want to do the same for cylinders. And look at how warmed up I am. Now I'm finally getting shapes to look right. See? You really want to practice this. Remember, if something moves away from you, it appears smaller on the farther end. So if it's really an extreme movement, the cylinder will taper a bit. See, like here. This side is smaller, okay? Same for an elongated box. It'll go something like this, maybe. That's terrible. Let me do another one. Something like this. You see, so you have to practice this anatomy. You have to learn the anatomy of the human body. Again, only if you want to. You can just... I could do this same drawing as I would approach it in watercolor and actually just draw it the way I see it. I could do that. But if you want to construct it, if you want to actually get like a solid structure in, you have to think about these different directions and different angles, okay? It's just a part of it. This actually looks not so bad now. I don't know if it's just the time I took away from it, or... I don't know, looks a little better. But in any case, this is definitely my favorite. So I really hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for the kind comments. I do see that people find this useful. Marjorie Johnson, how about drawing animals? You could start with Ruth. I have a Sheltie Lippet with long fluffy hair, that's cool, that I've been working on sketching for all of us puppy lovers. We could do that in a future video. We will. Let's do that. So yeah, let's remove the tape off of the painting. We'll set aside anatomy for now, just because I really want to thank anyone who joins the live streams. I really appreciate you being here so we can do this tape removal together. Some people told me not to remove the tape, but come on. Come on, I have to. So let me zoom out a bit by bringing this a little up, like that. Sorry for the shakiness. Sorry if it's getting you dizzy. But I want you to be able to see the entire thing. Let me fix the camera. Okay, here we go. Okie doke. So here is the final painting. Actually, should I zoom out a bit more? Let's do that. I'll actually use this for a TikTok video too later. We'll see. Zooming out just a tiny bit. That's good. And we'll fix it like that. Okay. So I worked on this one a long time. I really wanted it to be as good as it can. I could have gone with a bit of a darker background, but I don't know, I like it. So here we go. That's one. I'm gonna have a big mess here soon if I am not careful. That's two. That's three. And that is four. Nice kind of a way to wrap up today's live stream. Let me hold it up closer. There is just a bit of opaque paint here, really just a little bit, okay? Let me show you in the front-facing camera as well. This is a bit of a better quality sometimes. Okay, so yeah. So, and this really shows you the difference. You have to understand when I'm working on something, like without filming, without showing anything, it's a much different experience. And yes, it does make a difference because I can really focus on working slowly. When I have you here, which I enjoy a lot, I still need to take into consideration like what people find interesting, and I always have it in the back of my mind. So it's always a bigger challenge, just like what you saw here with the gestures that were highly challenging. But I am having a lot of fun sharing these with you, and it is important to me. So hopefully it's enjoyable, even though the result, it's bound to influence the result in a way, because it's just different when you work, fully concentrated just on that. You don't narrate, you don't explain, so it's really different. But yeah, I enjoy doing both. So this was a fun one. Tons of interesting details to put in here. The paints I used are by Roman Smalt. Some of you know them. It's the Aquarius line. So these were sent to me. These are very interesting. The red is super vibrant. The blue is a little lighter, as you can see. This is after taking out a lot of it. We have a burnt sienna kind of a paint here. The really interesting color here is the yellow, which is kind of a nickel azo yellowish style. It's just such a dark yellow. Like, look at how dark it is in the pen. Would you have believed this is a yellow? This is actually a yellow. And yeah, the green I barely used, and the purple is really good for getting darks too. And I also added yellow ochre to it. But in any case, yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Let's see if there are a couple of final questions, and then we'll wrap it up. It's a 3-point perspective. Your bottom is larger than the top, hence the deformation. Yes, you are correct. You're actually correct. I really sometimes need to stop and focus on these things to get them right. Zaytakor, hey Liron, do you have any idea where I can find upcoming or ongoing art challenges? That's a good question. I think it's just following trends and hashtags on Instagram and stuff like that. You can also search art challenges and see if there's anything coming up. I think you should be able to find like a list of art challenges with the Inktober and a bunch of others if you just search for it on Google even. I think so. I love this session. Thank you, Liron. Very stimulating doing it at the same time as you. Thank you so much. Secrets de Dessin. I never know how to pronounce it, if it's Deson, like in French, or Dessins. Let me know. Daiji Shinori, wow, the self-portrait came out great. Thank you. Yeah, watercolor. I'm in my zone, of course. McMahon Lovin, Smiley, wow, that was awesome. Avijit says, Mark, was your self-portrait from a photo? Yes, it was from a photo. I can actually show you the photo. Let me do that. Let me show you the reference for this. Let's see here. Big self-portrait. Work. Painting projects. Big self-portrait. So this is the one. It's huge, sorry about that. I'll make it smaller as always, but this was my reference. And the colors don't really show well on the camera. It's, it's not natural light anymore too, but it's much more colorful than you see. So yeah. Self-portrait is beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shamar, too. Shamar Daniel. Danica, thank you so much. Yusuf, bye-bye. Have a great day. Adrian, you, the self-portrait is so incredible. Thank you. Mark, hi, I'm back. Welcome back. We're still here. I'm Rush Artist. Which painting? This one. Carol Vadney, beautiful work. I got in a little late, but drew with you. Very helpful demonstrations. Dezon. Okay, got it. Secrets de Dezon. Mark, I can tell it's a mirror image from how you look on the camera. Yeah. Hey, Mark. Okay. So yeah, this is it. I think this is it for today. Let me show you again my favorite one from today, and this is very often what it's like. You do a lot of these, and then one or two click, and that was. And I can really show you here too. And I've shown you in another live. Like this one turned out really well, and then this one really expresses the motion well from November 2020. But then a few that are a little wonkier, you know, so it's just always doing tons of these, a lot of these. But definitely my favorite from today is the Ninja. So yeah, so here are the two. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had a fun one. Let me know what else you want me to do. If you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment. Let me know what else you want to see. And it's important for me to remind you that on Saturday, this Saturday, I'm going to publish my first lesson in the How to Simplify course. It's going to be out around the usual time, like I think something around 12 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so I'm going to post it. It's like 9 a.m. LA, if I'm not mistaken, 12 p.m. New York. And yeah, it's going to be the first introduction, maybe also the second lesson, we'll see, but I'll start dripping the course. So if you've been expecting that, how to simplify in watercolor, you can really look forward to this. I think it's going to be a really fun one. And yeah, this is all I have for you. I hope you had a good time, and thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I'm going to wrap up the session. I will talk to you again real soon.